Alright, hi guys. We are here today making beef tips and rice. I'm just going to go ahead and go over the ingredients real quick. Of course, we have the beef tips. Well, I got stew meat, beef for stew meat, and I got it from Walmart. You can use any kind of sirloin steak. You can cube it up yourself or whatever, but I bought the already cubed stew meat, and it is with the fat because I like the fat. Cause to me, fat equals flavor. But if you don't do the fat, they also serve it in lean, so you can get lean where the fat is already cut off. Okay, and this is, I have a almost a pound and a half. It's 1.31 pounds, so it's not a lot of people here, so this is perfect for what I'm doing. Okay, and then the next thing that I have a little bit of flour here, about half a cup of flour. I have some seasoning salt and some pepper, about 2 teaspoons of seasoning, teaspoons of seasoning salt, and about 1 tablespoon of pepper. I have 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, and I have 1 tablespoon of onion powder. And again, you can season your meat however you want to season your meat. If you prefer to just use salt and pepper, regular old salt and pepper, you can do that. I just like using garlic powder, and onion powder in what I cook, so that's why I have that. I also have some fresh parsley here that has been cut up. I have some green bell peppers. I usually cut them up and freeze them, so that's why they're a little frosty. And I have a small onion. I have a little bit of white onion in here. I ran out of white onion, so that's why it's purple, but I usually use white onion. So I have one, it would be 1 small white onion. I have a little bit of cornstarch, some olive oil, but you can use butter, so olive oil, butter, or a little bit of vegetable oil, whatever you choose to use. You just need something to line that pan when you get ready to brown your meat. And then I have some chicken broth here, and then of course I have the rice. I'm using brown rice, and I have 1 cup of brown rice. If you need more, you can use 2 cups, whatever will fit your family. Alrighty, and so I also have a bacon dish here. It just depends on whatever you bake in, you can use, but I don't have a from stove to oven pot, so I'm gonna use a bacon dish for when I'm finished browning my meat. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and set your oven, preheat your oven for 250 degrees. The reason we're doing that is because we're doing it in the oven, so we're gonna slow cook it to tenderize that meat, and then we will up the temperature after it's been in there for about 2 hours. So we'll go ahead and start preparing our meat. Okay, so I have a bowl here. This is what I'm going to mix my seasonings and stuff in my meat. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to wash our meat. And you can wash your meat however you want to wash your meat, as long as you wash your meat. Some people wash their meat with certain things, but I just wash it with regular old water. It seems to do fine for me. I haven't had any issues, so I'm just gonna continue. Okay, now we have our meat washed and dried off, so I'm going to go ahead and put me on a glove, because now comes the fun part. We're going to start mixing it all together. Alright, so we got our glove on. We're going to go ahead and put our seasonings in, which is our onion powder and our garlic powder. And I will leave the ingredients in the description box for you. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put in our pepper and our seasoning salt. Alrighty. And now we're going to go ahead and get ready to stir it all, mix it all up in there. Mix it in there real good, excuse me, so that you can get all those seasonings all over that meat. So you want it good and seasoned for when you put it in the skillet to brown it. Alright. And again, this is beef tips with rice. My recipe, how I cook it. And I really enjoy it this way. You can cook it so many different ways, and I've cooked it different ways, but I tend to just always be drawn back to the oven because I just love the oven. You know, I love my Instant Pot and I love my crock pot, you know, but I also really love my oven. So I really enjoy cooking stuff in oven. Alright. Okay, so we got the meat good and seasoned. Alright, so we get rid of this glove here. Excuse me. Alright, and now we're going to get ready to go over to the stove where we're going to be using our olive oil to start getting ready to brown the meat. Okay, we'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so we are now at the stove. We are going to get ready to brown our meat here with our olive oil. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the stove here to about medium, so that we can get ready to start browning our meat. So alright, so I'm going to take my olive oil and I'm going to put probably about just a few teaspoons, just enough to kind of line the bottom of the skillet, so we can get ready to do this. And of course, I love using olive oil because it doesn't take that long to heat up, and it's pretty quick. So that is why I enjoy doing that. I'm also going to add my vegetables. So I'm going to bring my onions. I'm going to bring my onions and my bell peppers over here. So we're just going to let this heat up just real quick. It doesn't take long at all. And then we're going to put our onions and our bell peppers in there. And then we're going to go ahead and brown our meat. Okay? So give it just a minute and we'll get that all ready for you. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead. It looks like it has warmed up pretty quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and put my onions in here. Here it's sizzling. Oh, it means it's ready to go. Ready to go. Alright, and then we're going to add our bell peppers. And we're just going to go ahead and do that. Get that all mixed up just for a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and put our meat inside of there. And again, you don't have to do your vegetables now. You can do your vegetables, you know, you can let your vegetables cook in the oven. I like to kind of grill my vegetables a little bit because I really do enjoy the taste of the grilled vegetables. You can taste that they've been grilled when you're eating it, even if you put them in the oven. So that's why I like to kind of grill my vegetables a little bit before I even put it in the oven. So again, this is how I do it, but if you don't want to do your vegetables now, you are more than welcome to just add your vegetables straight as they are into your baking dish with your meat. Okay, so we're going to let these cook a little while and then we'll be back to add the meat. Okay guys, and as you can see, our veggies have been cooking for a little while, a few minutes, maybe like 3 to 5 minutes depending on how much vegetables you have. And as you can see, our onions are becoming very translucent. So I'm going to go ahead and add the meat so we can start browning it. Alright guys, I'm doing this with one hand. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just brown the meat. So pretty much you're just letting it brown on each side. So I kind of just spread it out in the pan just to make sure that it's all kind of spread out equally. And we're going to brown it, y'all. you know, on each side. And this probably takes about anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes. Like I say, depending on how much meat you have and how hot your stove is. And we're not cooking it, we're just browning it. So don't feel like, you know, don't do like you're trying to cook it, because, you know, that's not what you're trying to do. Don't get frustrated with the whole process, because it's going to cook in the oven. We're just making sure that we get that nice brown shade on each side of the meat. So we'll let that kind of do its thing, and then we'll be back when we have it browned on each side. And as you can see, it has browned on one side, so I'm just flipping it right now to just brown it on the other side. And like I said, it does not have to be perfect. I remember when I first started cooking, I was like, oh, my stuff don't look like her stuff. My stuff ain't, you know, the same color as her stuff. I need to brown it some more. And, you know, everybody has to get in their dish when it comes to cooking. And, you know, I'm not a professional chef, nor do I claim to be, you know. So I just cook how I cook, and then I learn as I go too. A lot of times you don't learn until you make mistakes. So, you know, don't feel overwhelmed by cooking. It can be overwhelming if you allow it to be, but, you know, just have fun with it, you know. Try different things, try different techniques, you know. Everything that works for one person is not going to work for you. So yeah, so we got it all turned over. We're going to let it continue browning on the other side, and then we're going to get ready to transfer it to our baking dish so it can go in the oven. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, our meat has browned pretty good on all sides, and that's kind of how we want it. Oh, this smells so good already. We just want it to be browned on all sides. We're not trying to cook it through. Like I said, it's going to cook in the oven, so we have it pretty much done for this. And we're going to go ahead and transfer it to our baking dish. I went ahead and lined my baking dish with some aluminum foil because it makes cleanup a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer this. See if we can make it happen. Alrighty. Go ahead and cut off here. Go ahead and cut that off. And then we're just going to kind of go through. Spread it out here. Alrighty. There we go. And now I take some of my chicken broth. I have about a cup and a half. Just enough to fill the bottom of the pan. Okay, we got that there. And now we're going to go ahead and, this is something that I do. You don't have to do this, but to me, this is for my gravy. I take some flour and I just kind of sprinkle it through, all through there. Couple of handfuls. And don't worry about the flour taste. It's going to cook while it's cooking in the oven, so you won't even taste the flour. Alrighty. I actually think that's going to be enough. Just enough to kind of have flour throughout the pan. And, which is, you know, maybe for that good old gravy. It's going to be over there. Okay, I'm going to kind of just stir it in here a little bit. Get that flour stirred in there real good. Alright, again, I have my stove to about 250. We're going to stick it in the oven for about an hour, hour and a half. Just check it kind of throughout. Like I said, depends on how much meat you're using. I'm going to stick some aluminum foil on top just to make sure that it you know, keeps all those juices in there so that this meat can start to tenderize, because that's what we're doing. We're trying to get our meat to be tender. Alrighty, so we got that done. I'm going to go ahead and get some aluminum foil on top, and then I'm going to stick it in the oven. I will be back when in about an hour and a half to let you see how it's looking. All right. Okay, guys, so I just took out our beef tips, and as you can see, they are cooking nicely. I took the foil off because we're gonna stick them back in the oven, but I just kind of wanted you to see kind of where they are now. Oh, it looks so good. It smells so good. Okay, now comes the part where if you want to, which I do just a little bit, I'll get just a little bit of water. Uh-oh. It's trying to run away. I'll get just a little bit of water and cornstarch, and I'll add it to it to thicken it up a little bit. This actually is not looking too bad on our thickness scale, so I'm going to skip that. But if you find that your gravy is really thin, then you can take, and I had already made me some just in case, about a couple of teaspoons of cornstarch and like about 2 cups of water, about a cup of water, depending on how much you need. And you could just kind of pour it in there like so. I'll pour just a little bit to show you. And it's going to help thicken it up when you put it back in the oven. But I'm not going to put too much because I don't think it's that bad. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just mix it up a little bit. But it's looking so good, guys. Look. Oh, look at there. Oh, and look, and it's starting to get so tender. Oh, look at that. Yes. So we're going to do about another hour in the oven. And I mean, I think it would be perfect. It's going to be perfect. Alright, so I just kind of wanted to show you where we are with everything. And right now you can taste your sauce. Just have a little teaspoon of your sauce to make sure that it's seasoned the way you want it. And if it's not seasoned enough for you, then you can add a little more seasoning to it now, you know, if it's not. But if it is and it's perfect, then you can just stick it right back in the oven. Don't put the foil back on, because now you want it to really get down and dirty and cook for that next hour. We're also going to raise our temperature up from 250. We're going to raise it up to 350. Well, about 375, so it can really get to cooking. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this back in the oven, and then when we come back, bam, it's going to be good to go. Okay, okay guys, now we're going to go ahead and start our rice while our meat is cooking for the last hour. We're going to go ahead and start our rice. So what we're going to do is we're going to get, since I'm doing 1 cup of brown rice, I'm going to do 2 cups of water. Remember, it's 2 cups to 1 cup, 2 cups of water for 1 cup of rice. So if you do 2 cups of rice, you're going to do 4 cups of water. Okay, and so I got my water in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my rice in here. This is not instant rice. This is you know, whole grain. You cook it. You cook this rice. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and mix it in here a little bit. It's really easy to cook rice, guys. I mean, rice is really easy. Instant rice is really easy. But I love the taste. I love the texture. I love everything about cooking, you know, regular rice. So I have cooked instant rice in the past. I was an instant rice cooker. I'm not going to lie about it. But I have graduated to, you know, a full cooking of the rice. So, and no, nothing's wrong with instant rice, because if you're in a bind and you need to cook that rice real fast, hey, ain't nothing wrong with cooking instant rice. You just try to get that food on the table. Okay? All right. So we just mixed that in there a little bit good there. We're going to go ahead and put this on, and then we're going to go ahead and put it to about medium, of course, because we're just trying to get it to a boil. And then we're going to, after it comes to a boil, then we're going to take it down to low and let it finish cooking, and then our rice will be done, guys. So it does not take long at all. I don't put any seasoning in right now. I'll wait until after the rice is finished, and I might add some salt and maybe a little bit of butter. But we'll do that once we get to the end. So we'll let this boil. And the one thing I love about these little pots here is when it gets to boiling, the little steam comes out of there, so I know that it's good to go. So just, you know, if y'all looking for a pot, get y'all one of the pots with a little hole so y'all So y'all can know when it's ready and it's boiling if you can't boil water. So people can't boil water. So, you know, any help you can get, I don't blame you. All right, so we'll be back when this is to a boil. Okay, so I'm just checking back in with the rice, and as you can see, what I was kind of telling you about the little hole, you can see that how the steam is coming out the top. It's telling me that it is coming to a boil. So I'm going to go ahead and watch out for the steam because it's really hot. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of stir it here. And I'll just go ahead and stir it because, you know, sometimes the rice can get clumpy in places. So I just go ahead and just make sure I stir it real good. And as I can feel, as you can see, it's still kind of hard. So I'm going to actually let it boil a little bit longer, but I just kind of wanted to go in and let you know how it was. It's been about 7 minutes or so, so not too long. So we're gonna go ahead and let this boil for maybe a few more minutes, and then I'll be back to kind of show you kind of how the rice is going, and then we'll probably cut it down a little bit. Okay, so we are back to check the rice. All right, let's see. Okay, now, yeah, it's starting to look, yeah, now as you can see, it's starting to puff up a little bit. That lets you know that the rice is absorbing that water and it's starting to cook. So that's what you want to see. So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to stir it up a little bit, and then I'm going to cut it down on low. I'm going to cut it down on low. So I have low right there. And so we're going to let it just finish cooking and letting that water absorb into that rice so that rice can get done, and we'll be back. Okay, so we have been cooking for about another 10 minutes or so, and I just want you to take a look at the rice after we have cut it down and kind of let it soak up that that water. I want you to kind of see how it's looking. Alrighty, you see, now we're going to take it and we're just going to kind of stir it up a little bit. I'm just going to stir it up a little bit here. Sorry if I was too close, guys. And as you can see, it is looking rather delicious. Alrighty, so we're going to let that finish, you know, soaking it up. I'm probably going to get ready to cut it off because I think it's soaked up pretty good and I don't want it to get too dry. So we're going to turn it off. And this is the time where you can add some butter and some salt and pepper, or a little bit of salt if you want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to add about a half a teaspoon of salt, because I don't want to be too salty, because we're using this as the bottom for our beef tips, so we don't want it to be too salty because there's still going to be salt in our gravy. So I'm going to do about half a teaspoon of salt, about a tablespoon of butter, and then we'll be good to go. We'll be good to go. Okay, so I've added half a teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of butter. So I'm just going to mix it in here, let it melt in there. And then, guys, our rice is done. So we're just waiting on our beef tips to finish up here. And once our beef tips finish up, we will be ready to plate. Okay? Okay. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just stir that in, let that melt in there. And then cut it off. If you haven't cut it off already, this is the time where you can definitely cut it off because it's done. And yeah, oh my gosh, it looks so, look at that. Oh my goodness, it looks so good. Alright guys, we will be back. Alrighty guys, here is the end version. Everything looks so good. Smells so good. It's so tender. And oh my gosh, the gravy. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for you guys to try this, and leave a comment if you did try it, and if you loved it, let me know. Okay? Alright guys, until the next time, remember to love yourself and love others. Peace.